The city lights flickered like distant stars, illuminating the vibrant streets below with an otherworldly radiance. The scene unfolded before me, a cherished panorama that pulsed with the vibrant heartbeat of the metropolis, alive with energy and promise. Yet, as I crossed the threshold of our apartment, the familiar hum of urban life faded into a distant echo, leaving me enveloped in a cocoon of stillness. The silence that enveloped our home was haunting, a jarring contrast to the vibrant symphony of sounds that typically welcomed me. Leaving the office sooner than anticipated, I felt the weight of the day's meetings and expected to discover my husband sprawled on the sofa, a glass of whiskey cradled in his hand, or maybe Ethan, my stepson, lost in the immersive world of his video games, the volume cranked up high enough to drown out reality itself. Instead, I was engulfed by darkness, with only a slender beam of light daring to escape from beneath the living room door. A flicker of unease surged within me as I cautiously nudged the door open, bracing myself for the possibility of an unwelcome presence lurking inside. What I uncovered was beyond anything I could have anticipated. There, in the sumptuous cushions of our sofa, lay Ethan, an enigmatic figure shrouded in stillness. His athletic form exuded a relaxed demeanor, yet beneath the surface lay an intensity that crackled in the air, palpable even from the doorway. The television bathed his face in a soft, flickering glow, twisting his features into a captivating blend of focus and delight. His hand moved restlessly under the fabric, his body tense with a private longing. A surge of disbelief crashed over me, my breath caught in my throat as the weight of the situation sank in. Ethan, my stepson, was ensnared in the depths of self-indulgence, blissfully oblivious to my watchful gaze. The sheer scale of his endowment was astonishing, a striking reflection of his maturity, and it stood boldly on display without a hint of shame. In that fleeting instant, I stood paralyzed, my thoughts a tempest of clashing feeling. Embarrassment washed over me, a deep discomfort at having trespassed upon such an intimate moment. Yet, alongside that unease, a flicker of curiosity ignited within, a forbidden desire to unravel the enigma of the young man he had become. The thought flickered in my mind, a shadow I desperately tried to banish, but the guilt clung to me, gnawing at the edges of my conscience like a relentless predator. Ethan released a low, breathy moan, the sound hanging in the air like a whispered secret. With his eyes shut tight, he surrendered to the intoxicating sensations that coursed through him with every caress of his own hand. The sudden noise jolted me from my thoughts, and a rush of urgency coursed through me. I had to escape before he became aware of my presence lurking in the shadows. With every ounce of grace I could summon, I slipped away, my heart thundering like a drum in my chest. The trek down the hallway to my bedroom stretched on endlessly, each footfall burdened by the haunting memories of what I had seen. As I stepped inside, I shut the door with a decisive click, pressing my back against it, trying to shield myself from the tide of unsettling emotions that surged within me, threatening to engulf me whole. The room enveloped me like a sanctuary, a secluded haven where I could unravel the tangled threads of the evening's events in the stillness of solitude. I approached the window, pulling the curtains apart to reveal the sprawling cityscape before me. The lights flickered in the darkness, their cold glow mocking the storm of emotions swirling inside me. Perched on the edge of the bed, my thoughts swirled chaotically, defying any attempt to form a coherent narrative. Ethan's image seared itself into my memory, his imposing figure radiating an intoxicating blend of sheer delight and unrestrained ecstasy. It was a facet of him I had never encountered before, a revelation that both captivated and unsettled me. I shed my clothes, each motion feeling robotic, and sank into the embrace of the cupboard. The cool sheets clung to my skin, providing scant solace as my mind spiraled through the haunting echoes of the living room scene, each replay more vivid than the last. No matter how hard I fought to dispel them, the thoughts clung to me, enveloping me like a silken shawl on a sweltering summer night. I lay there, shrouded in darkness that wrapped around me like a heavy cloak, providing no escape from the haunting echoes of the evening's encounter that played over and over in my mind. The walls, once a refuge, now loomed ominously, closing in like a suffocating embrace, bearing silent witness to the storm of chaos that raged inside me. No matter how hard I fought to dispel them, the thoughts wrapped around me like a relentless fog, maddening yet strangely captivating. Ethan's face, laid bare without intention, was a haunting presence that would not be banished. His formidable presence, the raw essence of masculinity, was a revelation that obliterated the memory of the boy I once knew. As the night deepened, I found myself ensnared in a relentless battle against the tide of my own desires, each wave crashing harder than the last, rendering my efforts utterly futile. The forbidden held a magnetic pull, a siren song that lured me closer to the treacherous cliffs of moral decay. As I floated in a tempest of conflicting emotions, guilt and excitement crashed against each other like two colossal waves, threatening to pull me under. In the stillness of my bed, my hands wandered across the familiar terrain of my body, each caress a quiet rebellion against the maternal identity I had meticulously crafted over the years. Yet, the treacherous notion of Ethan's hand replacing mine sent shivers of anticipation racing through me, igniting a flame that had lain dormant for far too long. I surrendered to the fantasy, diving deep into the shadows of my desire, the aching void that craved to be fulfilled, the intense yearning that had surged within me from the instant I first beheld Ethan's bare figure now clamored for liberation, and I found myself utterly unable to resist its call. My breath hitched in quick, jagged bursts as I maneuvered through the perilous depths of my own desire. The allure of the forbidden wrapped around me like a heady mist, intoxicating and irresistible. I could almost feel Ethan's hands, his mouth, his body drawing me in, claiming me as my heart raced with an insatiable hunger. As I approached the peak of my ecstasy, the line separating reality from fantasy faded into a hazy abyss. The waves of ecstasy surged through me, a tumultuous blend of sanctuary and sentence, a fleeting moment of pure, unadulterated bliss, shadowed by the heavy weight of its inherent wrongness. In the haunting stillness that followed, I lay exhausted, grappling with the profound consequences of my own misdeeds. The burden of my choices enveloped me, heavy and suffocating, like a dark veil obscuring the light. I had stepped into a realm beyond mere contemplation, a transformation that resonated deep within the core of my existence. The night, once a sanctuary for contemplation and rest, had transformed into a theater for my own moral conflict, a tale in which I had unknowingly taken on the roles of both hero and antagonist. As sleep finally enveloped me, it was with the weight of a heart burdened by the haunting vision of the abyss, where I discovered a shadowy mirror reflecting my own concealed yearnings. As the first light of dawn approached, it threatened to unveil the hidden truths that had lingered in the shadows of the night. Ethan and I would sit across from each other at the breakfast table, the ordinary act of morning greetings, heavy with the unvoiced understanding of the events that had unfolded in the depths of our solitary worlds. Would he notice the transformation within me? The faint alteration in the way my gaze lingered on him. Recognizing himself as a man rather than merely the boy I had nurtured, these questions lingered in the air like ghostly apparitions, tormenting me with the tantalizing promise of revelations waiting to unfold. As the first light of dawn spilled golden warmth across the kitchen, I immersed myself in the familiar rituals of breakfast preparation, each movement steeped in a sense of purpose and anticipation. The bacon crackled in the pan, its sizzle echoing like a heartbeat, while the intoxicating scent of freshly ground coffee filled the air. These familiar sensations wove a comforting thread through the chaotic tapestry of our existence. Yet today, they faded into mere whispers against the storm of tumultuous thoughts raging within my mind. Ethan, now a university student, had transformed into a figure of remarkable maturity and fierce independence. But the night before had peeled back the facade of intellect and aspiration, exposing a raw vulnerability that caught me off guard. I arranged the breakfast table with meticulous care. My mind was ensnared by the vivid recollection of his unguarded moment, a fleeting instant that had exposed the depths of his most primal desires. The echo of footsteps reverberated through the house as Ethan began his descent from the room above, each step a prelude to the unfolding drama below. He strode into the kitchen, radiating the effortless assurance of youth, his laptop secured under one arm while a textbook was gripped tightly in the other hand. As dawn broke, he mumbled a greeting, placing his belongings on the counter with a quiet thud, before reaching for a glass of vibrant orange juice, the cool liquid promising a refreshing start to the day. "Good morning, Ethan," I replied, my gaze lingering on him, a storm of emotions swirling within me that I desperately tried to conceal. "How are your classes unfolding?" He took a sip of his juice, leaning back against the counter, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm as he began to weave a vivid tale of his recent academic adventures. I leaned in, feigning interest, while my thoughts spiraled into a chaotic tempest, far removed from his endless discourse on economics and literature. As he spoke, I couldn't help but steal glances at him, captivated by the way his shirt clung to his broadening shoulders, the stubble that shadowed his jawline, and the subtle flecks of muscle beneath the fabric of his pants. Ethan had transformed from the awkward teenager I once knew. He had transformed into a young man of remarkable stature and strength, a realization that had struck him with startling clarity just a few hours earlier. As he polished off his meal and began to collect his belongings, a palpable tension filled the air. I could feel the weight of the unspoken issue pressing down on us, a silent yet relentless call for resolution that could no longer be ignored. "Ethan, before you leave, there's something I need to discuss with you," I said, my voice unwavering, even as a storm of nerves churned in my chest. He halted, his backpack dangling precariously from one shoulder, and cast a glance my way, his face etched with a hint of intrigue. "Of course, what's on your mind?" With a deep breath, I stood at the brink, the world below me fading as I prepared to leap into the unknown. Casting aside all hesitation, last night I returned home sooner than I had planned, only to stumble upon a scene that was deeply intimate and unexpected. Ethan felt the blood drain from his face, his eyes growing wide with disbelief as the truth struck him like a bolt of lightning. Did you really see me?" I nodded, my lips curving into a small, reassuring smile that held a world of unspoken understanding. "Indeed, I did, and I want you to grasp that my feelings are neither of anger nor disappointment. On the contrary, I comprehend that what unfolded was a natural part of life, a private moment, one that you likely never anticipated would be exposed to the world. Ethan appeared to fold in on himself, the weight of his embarrassment heavy in the tense silence that enveloped us after my revelation. "I can't believe this is happening," he muttered, his eyes glued to the floor, as if the very ground could offer him an escape from the reality closing in around him. "Ethan, look at me," I urged softly, holding my breath until his gaze finally locked onto mine, the weight of the moment hanging between us. "There's no need for shame. You are a vibrant, strong young man, and it's entirely natural to delve into the exploration of your own body. Yet, I recognize the solitude that can accompany such secret journeys." He blinked, his surprise evident as he processed the raw honesty of our exchange. My mind races, words eluding me like shadows in the dark. "You don't have to say a word," I whispered, my fingers brushing against his as I reached across the table, a warm connection igniting between us. "But I want to offer you something. A sanctuary, a chance to delve into your desires, free from the shadows of concealment or guilt." A spark of curiosity pierced the fog of his shame. "What are you trying to say?" I tightened my grip on his hand, my eyes locked onto his, as I unveiled my daring proposition. "I propose that, if you're open to it, we could carve out a moment for you to delve deep into your thoughts and desires, all while holding onto the understanding that solitude is merely an illusion. In the shadows, I stand vigil, a silent guardian offering companionship and understanding in a moment that is often shrouded in solitude." Ethan's lips parted and shut in a silent rhythm, his thoughts visibly racing as he grappled with the weight of my proposition. "Are you really saying you want to observe me?" "Only if you're truly comfortable with the idea," I urged, my voice steady yet gentle, keenly aware of the weight of his choice. "We would carve out distinct boundaries, ensuring you held unwavering control over the unfolding events at every moment. This journey transcends my own narrative. It's about forging a sanctuary where you can unleash your true self, unshackled by the weight of judgment or the sting of reproach." He remained frozen in disbelief, the weight of my proposal hanging heavily in the air, his gaze fixed on mine as he wrestled with the magnitude of what I had just laid before him. "I need to think about it," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper, as if the weight of his words could shatter the silence around them. "This overwhelming." "Of course, take all the time you need," I said, gently letting go of his hand, allowing him the space to gather his thoughts. "Ethan, there's not a hint of pressure at all. Your emotions and sense of safety hold the utmost significance in my heart." The remainder of our morning exchanges hung heavy in the air, each word laden with unspoken tension. As Ethan stepped out for his university classes, an unspoken tension lingered in the air, a fragile thread stretched tight between us, poised on the brink of either snapping or intertwining deeper into the tapestry of our relationship. The day dragged on, the apartment enveloped in an eerie silence, a haunting stillness lingering in the air after Ethan's departure. As I drifted deeper into my thoughts, the echoes of our conversation swirled around me, each word heavy with the weight of what could unfold from my daring suggestion. The stakes were high, a daring risk that I felt could unlock a profound bond of trust and intimacy between us. As evening descended and shadows stretched ominously across the gleaming hardwood floors, a thrilling blend of anticipation and dread coursed through me. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the empty streets, Ethan was on his way back from class. I could feel the weight of the conversation looming ahead, the one that would force us to confront the intricacies of our new arrangement once more. I had meticulously crafted the foundation for a transformative change in our relationship, and now the weight of the decision rested on his shoulders. Would he dare to take that leap alongside me? As I immersed myself in the rhythm of preparing dinner, the ordinary tasks became a refuge from the storm of thoughts raging within me. The rich aroma of garlic and herbs enveloped the space, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere that contrasted sharply with the tangled emotions I was grappling with. As Ethan stepped through the front door, his face bore the weight of careful reflection, each thought swirling like a storm within him. We exchanged pleasantries, and as we settled into our dinner, I could sense the wheels turning behind his contemplative stare. He had clearly devoted the day to weighing his options, meticulously contemplating the potential risks and rewards of the path I had set before him. As we cleared the table together, an electric tension hung in the air, thick and undeniable. The time had come, a pivotal moment that would change everything. "Ethan," I began, my voice a fragile thread in the thick silence. "Have you pondered over our discussion from this morning?" He paused, his hands frozen mid-motion, the damp cloth suspended in the air as uncertainty gripped him. "I've thought about it," he confessed, his gaze locking onto mine with an intensity that sparked a fire within. "And I've made my choice. I'm ready to dive in and see what unfolds. Yet, before we embark on this journey, we must establish some fundamental guidelines." A surge of relief enveloped me, swiftly followed by an unyielding resolve. "We will tread carefully, ensuring that every step we take is one we both feel at ease with. This journey hinges on trust and respect, the foundation of everything we share." In the dim light of the room, we meticulously crafted the framework of our newfound connection. Every detail was scrutinized, from the precise moment and location of our pact to the subtle signals we would employ to convey our mutual consent and comfort. The air was thick with anticipation as we navigated this uncharted territory together. It was a surreal experience, navigating the delicate terms of such an intimate pact. Yet an undeniable beauty shimmered in the openness and honesty that surged between us. As the night began to fade, we reached a silent agreement to embark on our new journey the next evening, allowing us both a moment to brace ourselves for the deep transformation that awaited our relationship. Ethan slipped away into his room, leaving me in the heavy silence, where my thoughts swirled like shadows, the gravity of our choice pressing down on me like a soft, suffocating shroud. The next evening descended, shrouded in a palpable tension, as if the air itself was charged with the promise of unfolding events. The apartment pulsed with a warm glow, the ambient lighting wrapping the dining room in a soft, flattering embrace, setting the stage for the meal Ethan and I were about to share. With meticulous attention, I crafted a dish that blended warmth and elegance. A succulent roast chicken infused with fragrant herbs and zesty lemon, paired with a vibrant array of roasted vegetables and a refreshing salad of mixed greens. As we settled into our seats, the delicate clink of cutlery against fine china created a rhythmic backdrop, enhancing the tension of our unfolding conversation. Now, initially, our conversation danced around the mundane, Ethan's university escapades, an intriguing article I had stumbled upon, the vibrant cultural happenings unfolding in the city. However, as the night deepened, our exchange transformed, becoming a tantalizing game of playful banter, rich with double meanings and lingering glances that suggested a deeper, unspoken purpose behind our gathering. He met my smile with a bemused expression, a flicker of intrigue dancing in his eyes. It's a rare occasion when we find ourselves sharing such a close and personal dinner, isn't it? The laughter that erupted was bright and infectious, a fleeting moment of joy that cut through the thick tension that had been simmering since our conversation the day before. We savored each bite of our meal, the wine flowing freely, loosening our tongues and deepening the bond that was swiftly transforming into something much more intricate. After dinner, we slipped into the living room, where the inviting plush cushions of the sofa called to us, promising a cozy refuge for a nightcap. Ethan poured us each a glass of cognac, the rich amber liquid swirling enticingly as he handed mine over with a flourish, the warmth of the drink promising secrets and stories yet to unfold. With a heart pounding in his chest, he raised his glass to new experiences, his voice a thrilling blend of excitement and trepidation. To new experiences, I proclaimed, the sound of our glasses clinking together reverberating through the air, filling the room with an electric anticipation. We sat side by side, our bodies angled toward one another, the air thick with the palpable tension of unvoiced longing. Our conversation twisted and turned through a labyrinth of topics, each one rich with innuendo and cloaked hints, concealing the real reason we were together that night. As we drained our glasses, an unmistakable change swept over Ethan. The stillness of his thoughts transformed into a daring resolve, igniting a spark of something new within him. "Shall we venture into the next chapter of our evening?" I inquired, my voice a delicate balance of softness and resolve, an unspoken agreement hanging in the air between us. Ethan nodded, his gaze piercing through me with a fervor that sent my heart racing in my chest. "Yes, let's," he replied, his voice unwavering, yet the tension lurking beneath his words was unmistakable. I stood up from the sofa, my fingers gliding over the switch as the lights faded, transforming the room into a landscape of gentle shadows and muted colors. As I settled into my seat once more, my eyes found Ethan, silently urging him to take the first step into the unfolding narrative. He inhaled deeply, his hands pressed firmly against his thighs, as if summoning the strength he needed for what lay ahead. With a gaze filled with quiet resolve, he grasped the hem of his shirt and deliberately pulled it over his head, unveiling the sculpted contours of his chest and abdomen in the shadowy glow of the room. My breath hitched in my throat at the sight of him, his body a living testament to the man he had transformed into. I stood there, captivated, as he slowly unbuttoned his jeans, letting them fall away to reveal only his boxer briefs, the fabric taut against the undeniable proof of his desire. "Do you feel at ease?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper, seeking reassurance that we were both comfortable with the tension that hung in the air. "Yes," he confirmed, his gaze locking onto mine with a raw vulnerability that stirred something deep within me, a mix of heartache and undeniable allure. "Heck." With that, Ethan shut his eyes, sinking into the plush embrace of the sofa, his hands gliding with intent toward the elastic waistband of his underwear. He hesitated, a brief stillness enveloping him as he braced against the impending rush of sensations. With a deliberate motion, he lowered the fabric from his hips, liberating his erection into the air. "Sisko, kachalsington with erachnerta bristroch, eorak hatched." A warmth enveloped me as I beheld him, his hand gliding along the length of his shaft, each stroke weaving a mesmerizing tapestry of shadows and light in the softly illuminated room. My breath matched the cadence of his movements, each heartbeat echoing in my chest as I observed him, completely absorbed in the depths of his own desire. My gaze locked onto him, an unspoken witness to his solitary moment. The boundaries of propriety and decorum that had once governed our relationship began to fade, swept away by the powerful tide of this unrestrained, fervent display of longing. Yet, within the act lay a profound tenderness, a silent acknowledgement that our actions stemmed from an unshakable trust and a deep, though unconventional, bond of affection. With each passing minute, Ethan's breath quickened, his body coiling tighter with the impending crescendo. I watched as the muscles in his thighs and abdomen coiled with tension, his hand moving with a frantic intensity, driven by the desperate pursuit of the release that loomed just ahead. As the echoes of the chaos faded, he remained still for a heartbeat, his chest heaving with each labored breath. Finally, he opened his eyes, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. In that moment, the vulnerability I glimpsed in his gaze struck me like a thunderbolt, a potent reminder of the profound connection we had forged. It was a bond that defied the conventional limits of our relationship, plunging us into uncharted emotional territory where every heartbeat echoed with unspoken truths. As I began to rise from the sofa, determined to grant Ethan the space and privacy he might require in the aftermath of his vulnerability, his hand reached out, softly encircling my wrist. The touch ignited a spark, a desperate call for connection that surged through me, sending waves of anticipation racing along my spine. "Stay," he urged, his voice a gentle plea that stirred something profound inside me. "I want you to immerse yourself in this, to become an integral part of it all." I paused, the gravity of his request pressing down on us like a thick fog. The carefully drawn boundaries began to tremble before my gaze, as the lines between observer and participant started to dissolve into a single, indistinguishable reality. My mind surged with the weight of his request, the looming consequences of stepping over a boundary that had, until now, remained untouchable. Yet, as I gazed into Ethan's eyes, I perceived more than mere desire shimmering in their depth. A deep yearning for closeness pulsed between us, a longing for a connection that reached far beyond the mere physical act we were contemplating. It was a summons to shed the last vestiges of our former selves and fully embrace the intricate tapestry of what we had evolved into for each other. With a weighty sense of inevitability, I nodded, my consent offered with the same deliberate care and thoughtfulness that had defined every moment of our journey up to this point. "Okay," I whispered, my voice unwavering even as a storm of nerves swirled in my stomach. "I will remain." Ethan's relief washed over him like a tide, his grip loosening around my wrist as he gently led me back down onto the sofa beside him. His touch was hesitant at first, a delicate journey across the curves of my body, the fabric of my clothing barely separating us. Every touch, every tender squeeze, fanned the flames of a smoldering desire that had sparked within me the instant I beheld his bare figure. As his hands grew bolder, slipping beneath the hem of my blouse, I felt an electric thrill coursing through me. I arched into his touch, my body betraying the initial hesitation that had held me back, responding with a fervor I couldn't ignore. The touch of his fingers on my skin ignited a whirlwind of emotions, a tantalizing blend of the unknown and the intimately known, awakening a deep, burning desire within me. The unmistakable evidence of his renewed desire pressed against my hip, a vivid reminder of the powerful connection our shared experience was igniting within him. The thrill coursed through me, a potent rush, as I realized the power I held over this strong, virile young man who had laid bare his deepest desires before me. With a daring that took me by surprise, I lowered my hand, mirroring his, as we delved into the uncharted territory of our blossoming connection. The intertwining sensations of giving and receiving pleasure enveloped us, forging an unbreakable bond that spiraled into a relentless cycle of desire, erasing any trace of doubt or regret. Our movements grew frantic, the once serene sanctuary of the living room, morphing into an intimate world where only we existed, bound by a connection that surged with an intensity threatening to consume us both. Ethan's breath quickened, each sharp gasp echoing the tension coursing through his body, as he approached the brink of another release. With a deep, resonant moan that echoed from the core of his soul, Ethan reached his release again, the heat spreading over my hand as I maintained my gentle caress. The sight of him, stripped bare and completely exposed, ignited a fire within me, a potent allure that sent me spiraling into a whirlwind of desire, my body trembling with an intensity that caught me off guard. In the stillness that enveloped us, we lay intertwined, a chaotic blend of limbs and soft, murmured affection. The boundaries that once defined stepmother and stepson had dissolved into a haze. The roles we had clung to now irrelevant, overshadowed by the profound connection forged through our intertwined lives. That night, we stepped into a realm from which there was no return, a line drawn in the darkness that would forever change us. The stepson sought a bond that soared beyond the confines of his own grasp, while the stepmother ignited a fervor that shattered the boundaries of societal norms and expectations. In that moment, we reshaped the very essence of our connection, creating a bond that was both breathtaking and intricately layered. As we finally broke free from each other's grasp and retreated to our separate rooms, a heavy realization settled in. The past was irretrievably lost, and nothing would ever be the same again. We set forth on a journey that would irrevocably reshape our destinies, a path woven with threads of deep connection and the haunting recollection of a night that transformed us in ways we were just starting to grasp. The morning light seeped through the delicate curtains, bathing the kitchen in a warm, golden hue as I immersed myself in the comforting rituals of preparing breakfast. The rich scent of freshly brewed coffee, intertwined with the enticing aroma of sizzling bacon, a vivid reminder of the mornings that once felt so ordinary. Yet, as I meticulously set the table for two, an unsettling tension pulsed just beneath the veneer of our seemingly tranquil domestic life, whispering secrets of unspoken words and hidden fears. Ethan stepped into the kitchen, each footfall laced with uncertainty, his eyes locking onto mine with a mix of trepidation and intrigue. We exchanged polite greetings, the words mere vessels for the unspoken thoughts and feelings that loomed between us, ready to spill over and engulf our fragile composure. As we settled into our seats, the weight of the previous night loomed between us, an unspoken tension that neither of us dared to confront just yet. We sat in silence, the sharp clink of cutlery against plates echoing like a haunting reminder of the lively conversations that had once danced through our mornings. I observed Ethan from the shadows of my lashes, captivated by how his gaze danced away from mine, the faint blush that ignited on his cheeks whenever our hands inadvertently grazed one another. As we approached the final bites of our meal, Ethan's throat cleared, a tension-filled sound that echoed in the charged air. His fingers danced a restless rhythm on the tablecloth, betraying the storm brewing beneath his calm facade. "It all started last night," he murmured, his voice a fragile thread in the heavy silence. I felt compelled to speak. Your touch held an electric intensity, a sensation that sent shivers down my spine. The atmosphere was charged with an unmistakable air of professionalism, A wave of relief crashed over me at his words, a powerful affirmation of the care and restraint I had woven into our intimate encounter. "I'm relieved to hear you felt that way, Ethan." Ensuring that we both felt at ease and valued during the entire experience was of utmost importance to me. He nodded, his gaze locking onto mine with an intensity that spoke volumes. I did. As I settled into the moment, a thought flickered in my mind. Perhaps we could embark on this adventure once more, sometime soon. The suggestion, though not wholly surprising, ignited a surge of unease intertwined with excitement that raced through my veins. We found ourselves navigating fragile terrain, where every step we took held the promise of deep connection, or the looming shadow of heartbreak. As I gazed into Ethan's eyes, a flicker of hope ignited within me, mirroring the deep-seated yearning for adventure that lay hidden in my heart. We must forge ahead with open communication, setting firm boundaries to safeguard the integrity of our arrangement, ensuring it thrives in a realm of health and consent. Ethan's shoulders dropped, the tightness that had coiled within him unraveling at the sound of my agreement to his plea. "I completely understand. Last night held a profound significance for me, and I believe it would be beneficial for us to delve deeper into this new dimension of our relationship." I extended my hand across the table, enveloping his in a gesture that spoke volumes of reassurance and unwavering solidarity. "We will navigate this journey slowly, carefully attuned to one another's emotions and boundaries. Our bond is unlike any other, a rare gem that deserves to be cherished and cultivated, undeterred by the weight of societal expectations or conventions." As we polished off our breakfast, the lively chatter began to wane, giving way to the humdrum of everyday life. Discussions of the day ahead, looming university assignments, and the familiar rhythm of routine. Yet beneath the surface, a quiet transformation stirred within our dynamic, an unspoken acknowledgement of the path we had chosen together, and the silent agreement that wove through each moment we shared. As Ethan rose to depart for his classes, he hesitated, casting a glance back at me that was heavy with gratitude and unvoiced emotions. "Thank you for it all. Will I see you tonight?" A smile crept across my face, a wave of tranquility washing over me as I embraced the journey we had embarked on together. "Absolutely, Ethan. I'll be there tonight." As he stepped out of the apartment, the sharp click of the front door echoed, marking the beginning of an exhilarating new chapter in our life. Once again, solitude enveloped me, and I found myself lost in contemplation of the dramatic transformations that had unfolded in mere moments. The dynamic between stepmother and stepson had transformed completely, reshaped by the deep respect and understanding that had emerged from our recent encounters. As the day unfolded, my mind frequently wandered to Ethan and the extraordinary connection we were beginning to shape. The evening loomed with the allure of uncharted territory, a tantalizing opportunity to plunge into the intricate web of our entwined longings. The path ahead was riddled with challenges and lurking dangers, yet an undeniable thrill coursed through me as I anticipated the journey, fueled by a flicker of cautious hope. Ethan's perception of our experience as something uplifting, even healing, soothed the remnants of uncertainty that clung to my mind regarding the righteousness of our choices. We navigated the unknown, driven by an unwavering dedication to truth, respect, and the quest for a bond that defied the ordinary limits of our relationship. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, casting the apartment in a delicate twilight glow, I steeled myself for Ethan's return. The anticipation coursing through my veins spoke volumes about my entanglement in his life, a connection that had veered into uncharted territory, one I had never foreseen, yet had come to accept with every fiber of my being. As the day slipped away, shadows stretched like fingers across the cityscape beyond our windows, and a sense of restless anticipation gripped me for the evening that lay ahead. Time slipped away in a whirlwind of mundane chores and deep reflection, each tick of the clock drawing me nearer to the moment when Ethan and I would reunite, diving once more into our passionate journey of longing and intimacy. The apartment was enveloped in the gentle embrace of twilight when the unmistakable sound of his key, twisting in the lock, pierced the stillness. My heart surged, a whirlwind of nerves and exhilaration swirling in a chaotic ballet within the cage of my ribs. That evening, I meticulously curated my appearance, selecting an outfit that balanced comfort with allure, a quiet acknowledgement of the unspoken pact that lingered between us. Ethan crossed the threshold, his very being igniting the space around him with a warmth that was as inviting as it was charged with an undeniable intensity. "Is anyone there?" He greeted me, his voice a soothing whisper that wrapped around me like a comforting blanket, drawing me into its gentle warmth. "Welcome back," I said, my smile a careful blend of warmth and determination, eager to show him my affection while signaling my commitment to our pact. "Did your day unfold with purpose and achievement?" With a subtle nod, he placed his backpack by the door, then approached me, each step charged with unspoken tension. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that my mind was consumed by the anticipation of the night ahead. His candid confession ignited a surge of excitement within me, a powerful signal that we were both wholeheartedly devoted to the journey ahead. It fills me with relief to know that the anticipation of our time together has been building within me, a quiet thrill waiting to unfold. We lingered in a hushed silence, the atmosphere crackling with the anticipation of the unfolding events that lay ahead. Ethan's eyes sparkled with a blend of eager anticipation and a whisper of vulnerability, a poignant reminder that even amidst his burgeoning confidence, he was still traversing the intricate labyrinth of our unconventional connection. "Shall we embark on this journey together?" He reached out, his hand hovering in the air, a silent invitation that crackled with unspoken tension. I took his outstretched hand, our fingers weaving together in a connection that was at once comforting and exhilaratingly fresh. "Indeed, let us embark on this journey." As we stepped into the living room, the soft glow of the dimmed lights and the inviting embrace of the plush furnishings enveloped us, creating an atmosphere ripe for our unfolding drama. Ethan grasped the remote control, his fingers trembling with anticipation as he flicked on the television. The screen flickered to life, revealing a video notorious for its explicit content, a potent spark igniting the uncharted desires that lay just beneath the surface, waiting to be unleashed. As the video unfolded, the actors on screen lost themselves in a fervor of unrestrained passion, igniting a warmth that coursed through my body. Each scene intensified my awareness of Ethan's presence beside me, drawing me deeper into the moment. The heat emanated from his skin, a palpable force that drew me in. His breathing quickened, each breath a testament to the rising tension, his desire igniting with every moment that passed in the charged atmosphere. After a few moments, he turned to me, his gaze piercing, brimming with an unvoiced urgency that sent shivers down my spine. "Join me on this journey. I want you to share in this experience with me," he uttered, his voice a mere breath, barely breaking the silence. "Could you lend me your assistant?" His request laid bare a vulnerability that was intoxicating, a powerful testament to the trust he bestowed upon me as I navigated the shadowy depths of our entwined desires. "Absolutely, Ethan. I stand by your side, ready to support you in any way you require. With that, I extended my hand, fingers intertwining with his, offering a firm squeeze that spoke volumes of comfort and connection. Our gazes were ensnared, a magnetic pull that held us captive as my fingers roamed, exploring the curves and lines of his form with a devotion that felt almost sacred. Every gasp and shudder that coursed through him became a silent testament to the bond intensifying between us with each fleeting moment. As my hand descended, brushing against the unmistakable evidence of his desire through the fabric of his pants, Ethan's breath caught in his throat, a vivid indication of his growing urgency. "Please," he murmured, the single word dripping with a universe of yearning and unquenchable desire. With a swift motion, I unbuckled his belt, my fingers moving with a familiar precision to liberate him from the confines of his attire. The act unfolded as a surrender to his yearning, while simultaneously declaring my own place in this intricate ballet of desire and fragility. As I started to pleasure him with slow, deliberate movements, Ethan's head tilted back against the sofa, his eyes drifting shut as he succumbed to the tide of sensations that surged through him. His presence, consumed by the depths of his own unrestrained longing, ignited a fierce fire within me, awakening my own desires in a way I had never anticipated. Our movements grew increasingly frantic, the symphony of our shared ecstasy intertwining with the provocative sounds spilling from the television. It was a symphony of longing, a powerful declaration of the profound bond we shared and the daring choice we made to fully surrender to it. In a surge of raw emotion, Ethan's hand found its way to the back of my neck, drawing me closer as he pulled me into his embrace. Our lips collided in a kiss that felt like a long-awaited return and a stunning discovery. A gentle yet passionate journey that whispered of hidden truths and the silent ties that intertwined our souls. The kiss intensified, our tongues weaving together in a passionate dance that echoed the heartbeat of our entwined hands below. It was a crossing of a sacred threshold, a vivid manifestation of the love and desire that had flourished between us, defying the weight of societal norms and expectation. As our embrace deepened, Ethan's hands roamed over the curves and contours of my body, each touch whispering a silent promise of the ecstasy that awaited us both. I mirrored his actions, my fingers slipping beneath the fabric of his clothing to explore the warmth of the bare skin that awaited beneath. The surge of our passion was unavoidable, a thrilling journey that transformed the cautious exploration of our past meetings into an uninhibited display of our shared longing. With a reverence that felt almost sacred, we peeled away our layers, our eyes feasting on the beauty of each other's unveiled forms. As we finally shed our last layers, Ethan's hands quivered, ever so slightly, a mix of anticipation and vulnerability, as he gently led me down onto the sofa beside him. His gaze bore into me with an intensity that spoke volumes, revealing a tumultuous blend of desire and tenderness. In that moment, as he loomed above, an unspoken bond enveloped us, hinting at a connection that reached far beyond the physical act we were on the brink of sharing. Our love-making unfolded like a slow, tantalizing dance, an intimate celebration of the connection that had ignited in the depths of our shared passions. Ethan's every touch ignited a fire within me, each kiss a spark that blurred the lines of our relationship. His whispered endearments wrapped around us like a shroud, a constant reminder that we had transcended the roles of mere stepmother and stepson. We were partners in every sense of the word, entwined by a connection that shimmered with beauty and pulsed with complexity. As we ascended to the peak of our entwined ecstasy, our bodies harmonizing in a dance toward the impending climax, I realized we had ventured beyond a threshold from which there was no return. The act of lovemaking which had started as a mere exploration of desire, transformed into something far deeper, a sacred union that forever intertwined our destinies. In the aftermath, as we lay entwined in each other's embrace, a profound silence surrounded us, rich with the unvoiced understanding of the journey we had just shared. Ethan pressed a tender kiss to my forehead, a quiet recognition of the path we had traveled side by side, a path that had irrevocably changed the trajectory of our lives. In the days that followed, Ethan and I found ourselves entwined in a new rhythm, each moment charged with the pulse of our deepening connection. Our interactions danced on the edge of domestic normalcy, infused with the electric thrill of our secret explorations. Each moment wove itself into the intricate tapestry of our unconventional relationship, a vivid thread in a story only we could tell. The mornings unfolded in a cocoon of comfortable silence, where shared glances and knowing smiles danced across the breakfast table, whispering secrets of the intimacy we had woven together. We whispered about inconsequential things, our trivial exchanges a sharp juxtaposition to the smoldering desire that lurked just beneath the surface. As Ethan sat in his university classes, I drifted into a whirlwind of thoughts, grappling with the deep transformation that had unfolded between us. The afternoons unfurled like a vast canvas, teeming with possibilities that danced tantalizingly on the edge of exhilaration and dread. I immersed myself in work and household chores, each tick of the clock echoing in my mind, a relentless reminder of the dwindling hours until Ethan would finally come back. Every evening, we gathered once more in the refuge of our shared living space, the well-known environment serving as a canvas for our ongoing journey into each other's depths. The rituals we forged became a sanctuary and a spark, igniting the deep-seated desires that wove themselves into the very fabric of our connection. In the midst of our exchange, laughter danced between us, and secrets flowed like a river, binding us together in a moment that felt timeless. Every interaction pulls us deeper into the uncharted realms of our connection. As the sun dipped below the horizon, our evenings drew us into the living room, where the gentle glow of lamplight enveloped us, painting our bare skin in a warm, inviting hue. The intimacy we shared wove a rich tapestry of touch and taste, each encounter a captivating exploration of mutual pleasure and the delicate boundaries of our physical connection. The outside world faded into oblivion as we surrendered to a collective ecstasy, a sanctuary that unveiled truths we never dared to confront. As the nights deepened, we lay entwined, the stillness of the apartment echoing the profound trust we held for one another. Ethan's head nestled against my chest, his breaths deep and rhythmic, surrendering to the gentle embrace of sleep. In the stillness of those moments, I delved deep into the journey that had brought us to this point, a journey filled with unforeseen twists and the bravery to navigate the intricate layers of our changing bond. In the stillness of our shared bed, I found myself lost in thought, grappling with the weight of the future and the unvoiced questions that hovered just beyond the reach of my mind. What fate awaited us, and what would happen to the fragile equilibrium we had painstakingly built? As Ethan's hand slipped into mine amidst the enveloping darkness, a surge of warmth coursed through me, a vivid reminder of the strength of our connection. It was a bond meticulously crafted in moments of vulnerability, underpinned by an unshakable belief that what we shared was a treasure worth every risk we dared to take. And so, we pressed on, each day unfolding like a chapter in a tale of fervor and intimacy, our lives entwined in an exquisite waltz of desire and affection. Outside, the world cast its judgment, eager to impose its rigid definitions of love and family. Yet, within the sanctuary of our home, Ethan and I had forged a realm that belonged solely to us, a refuge where we could delve into the depths of our desires and embrace the limitless possibilities of our shared future.